So today's a pretty freaking exciting video. Today's the day we finally start moving forward instead of continuously going backwards, taking things apart. But got a lot planned for this one. It's not really a lot of separate things planned, but it's more a lot of work. But we're gonna start running all this wiring harness. This huge rat's nest. This wire here, this huge wiring harness goes to the back. But the tricky part is I want to hide everything. It's gonna be wire tucking, really the majority of that harness. That one will kind of just slip down, you wouldn't really see it. But tricky part is I have to add wires in. This is my fuel pump wire here. Or not fuel pump, but sending unit. So back here, we're not using the factory fuel tank anymore. I'm gonna putting a fuel cell in back here. So I have to extend that wire back. Our battery is going to end up getting mounted right here. So I have to run new leads up to the front of the truck for the starter and my main ground and stuff. We got this wire here for that. And then I'm also going to be running for all of our switches and relays. I'm not going to have anything on the edge anymore. The whole relay setup I had before just wasn't working out. So we have a ARC 8000 switch panel and relay module. They're already running. Our radiator fans is going to take up 2 of these, tranny fan, fuel pump, arming for the nitrous, and then we also have a bottle warmer we're going to be installing. We have a bunch of other stuff to help us do all of this. But the goal with all this is to try to make it look really neat underneath the hood in here. Those of you that have first gens are seen under the hood of even mine. They're always a freaking mess because the batteries sit right here in the corner. Actually, it's up high. It's right here, and everything, all your main wires just lay on the fender, and it's almost like it's so empty in these engine bays. Anything that is running on the fender just looks like crap. But anywho, I gotta go through that whole harness, figure out how everything goes, because that's how it ran inside the cab and ran out in different spots. I'm gonna do my best to pretty much hide every single wire that I can on this, so should be interesting to see how that goes. But I was an idiot and forgot to weld my battery mounting box on before I painted, so I have to grind out a couple spots right here and then repaint it after I'm done, but no biggie. But yeah, should be interesting. See how it lays out. Alright, so that pretty much gets me as far as I can get really with the wiring without ordering some more things. Up here under the hood, I didn't wrap this harness yet. This guy here, all this stuff, because I gotta order shut-off solenoid. I didn't really think about that. But it's kind of hard to see on time lapse. We got all this harness coming up on the passenger side all loomed. Now this is gonna stay tucked in alongside here, inside the frame tight. You just come down behind the fender here and come across the fender. No wires on that fender anymore. It's gonna be awesome. Got these couple wires here. They're still waiting to be hooked up. Those are gonna be for the radiator fans. Both 8-gauge wires, both can be power wires, so there'll be plenty of power going into this thing this time, so they won't melt all the wires again, because those fans pull so much power. But everything's all tucked up in here. That bracket I made sits right up in there. That's got all the relays for my control panel inside the truck. Control panel is all mounted up in there now. It looks freaking sick. Freaking love it. It won't turn on because the battery's locked up, but it does turn off now. All the switches, when it comes from the factory, they're wired so they stay on all the time. But I was able to wire it in so when I shut the key off, all those switches will automatically turn off. So I don't have to sit there and go ding, 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 ding through all the switches. Everything will just turn off on its own. But I got our battery mounted back here. That looks pretty mint. Measuring up for clearance into the bed, everything looks like it's gonna work out. Got a wire ran back here for lift pump. And then our regular harness is already all loomed up. That goes all the way on the frame. Gonna get tucked in there nice. Another problem I ran into, I can't find a tie for inside the frame rail that will push in. I was looking for like those push and zip ties. The ones I got don't make it through the frame. So I gotta find some push and zip tie things to mount all these hoses and wires. Also got 2 wires right over here, to a signal and a ground, to hopefully be able to hook up a sending unit when we get our fuel cell mounted underneath the bed back there. But yeah, pretty much just about wraps everything up that I can do right now. Besides running all our big battery cables, that pretty much wraps everything up for as far as I can go with the wiring. But I'm super excited about that ARC switch panel over there. That's gonna be so nice. I had 2 switches that used to be on the edge. Problem is with that, if I forget to turn them off, then the switches would all stay on when you shut the truck off and the edge turns off. Then I gotta turn them off. Well, the edge takes so long to load, I have to sit there for like 30 seconds and wait for it to power back up so that I could get those things turned off. But now, can't really forget, everything will just turn off on its own. Also super excited about this. I think it looks really cool. Everything worked out perfectly with that. Oh, tranny coolers. Almost forgot about the tranny coolers. We cut off the 2 bed mounts. Those 2 guys over there, that one and that one, gone on this side. 2 tranny coolers are gonna mount right in here. I already got power wire ran back here for that as well. The bed will just be able to bolt down onto the frame rail because I don't know why those brackets are outside of there, but they sit flush with the frame anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I gotta get this bad boy back down on the ground on its wheels and get her pushed in the corner for now. I got other things to work on, so. I didn't do a whole lot of recording in the cab. It's really hard to move around in there just for myself alone because it's so small and no light. But everything runs into the cab right there. I'm gonna have to try to put something in that corner to cover that mess up. But got a section of wires coming out right here out of the bottom of the cab. Another section right there on the bottom of the cab. And I put them all on the frame rail so they come down and go straight into the frame rail. But all the wires run inside the cab now, which is a huge pain to get everything in there. You can't see it, too dark. But you guys get the point. The whole harness that used to be up along the top of the cowl, it's down here. Also got our bottle warmer hooked up too, with a pressure gauge to be able to monitor that. If it starts getting down on pressure, we can heat the bottle up and get every last drop out of it. Make sure we're getting a good nitrous shot at all times, because last year we definitely had some problems with it freezing up. But this freaking garage is a total disaster, so gotta get this bad boy back on the ground, get this freaking garage cleaned up, because I got other things to work on. But that's pretty much where we stand right now. Only about 25% of you guys are subscribed to my channel that are watching, so do me a huge favor, guys, go down and subscribe. That actually helps us out a ton growing the channel. Make sure you guys come back for our part 2 of our whole wire tucking thing we got going on here.